We've seen him on camera. If you saw him before, you'll see Avacyn's Pilgrim, Farseek, Restoration Angel, Thragtusk, Angel of Serenity, and that's a normal Huntmaster of the Fells. That's a normal Naya deck.
Yep.
But he's one level up. He's splashing Sphinx's Revelation.
Oh yeah. We actually did a deck tech with Andrew just a little while ago. It'll be going up soonish.
Okay.
And you can learn all about how he made this deck, which was basically he forgot some cards and had to throw it together.
Yeah. So Chris Anderson leads with one of the better openings in his deck, Temple Garden into Arbor Elf.
It's definitely a strong
Perhaps his best opening. And then Cavern of Souls from Andrew enables Avacyn's Pilgrim.
I assume he named Puman. That's, I think, a reasonable stretch to make it.
Yeah, it probably did not cheat.
That's the big thumbs up. Well, I mean, it has a class too, right? Monk or something?
Oh yeah, Druid, yeah.
The old monk.
So,
I don't know why I said monk. It can't be monk, right? That just can't be right.
Unlikely.
Unlikely at best. Smiter? Nope. Borderland Ranger. All right.
Borderland Ranger is secretly one of the better cards in these decks. Basically, you're trying to get to Angel Serenity mana. And you can't just play 29 lands or whatever.
Yeah. In this matchup, both players have access to a reasonable amount of ramp and Angel of Serenity. I think Chris has a little bit more mana, but Andrew can go over the top.
The best color fixing Cavern of Souls Andrew's deck is capable of. I'm shocked he didn't get he got a second white source as opposed to his first green one, realistically.
Might have paid off here. He's probably going to lose his
Avacyn's Pilgrim
to Garruk, but if he has a Detention Sphere, you can just clear the Garruk right out.
Yeah. Andrew does have 3 copies of his Detention Sphere. So.
Otherwise, this is going to get pretty problematic, I think.
Yeah.
Hinterland Harbor. Nope, I guess that means no Detention Sphere. What do we have? Attack Garruk. Well, that didn't work. Rats.
Farseek?
That's the only play that really makes sense. It was Farseek or another Borderland Ranger, right? Like, otherwise, why would we play the Harbor at all?
So, Chris Anderson goes to his turn with an active Garruk the Veil Cursed.
Yep, that's going to make some Death Touch Wolves, I imagine, unless he really wants to turn that Arbor Elf into something else. I get the feeling he doesn't. It's pretty much just a land in the matchup. Unlike many Naya decks, 4-color Naya decks, I should say, Andrew's list does not have access to Bonfire of the Damned.
His removal is very, let's say, situational.
Detention Sphere is a pretty real spell.
Yeah, that's his best removal spell. His other quote-unquote removal spells are Selesnya Charm, Flipping Huntmaster of the Fells.
Always good.
And Angel Serenity.
Yep. I guess we have a singleton Garruk Relentless, but which will solve the problem of this Garruk.
Yeah, either Garruk will be...
is an out. I doubt we have the 3rd green for the other one, since we just Farseeked for a second one. But who knows what the future might hold.
Yeah. So it looks like...
Andrew supplying some Death Touch Wolves for Chris. Man, now he knows that he has Garruk Relentless.
Yeah.
Gosh.
What a tell.
What a tell.
Alright, Loxodon Smiter and an Avacyn's Pilgrim complete Chris's turn, and he is up in the creature count 4-0.
It's a pretty good place to be. There's that Garruk Primal Hunter. He did have it. And he had that 3rd green.
Wow.
Nope, he's going to take a boatload of damage. A pile, even, you might say. Pile of damage.
Looks like 7 coming in. And for once, we have life totals falling as opposed to rising. That has been a theme of this tournament. Life total is going up rather than down.
The magic of Thragtusk and Centaur Healer.
Yeah.
And I guess even to a lesser extent of Vault of the Archangel and Rocksmith Mender.
And Sphinx's Revelation.
And Sphinx's Revelation. How could I forget Sphinx's Revelation? A wonderful spell.
Who knew Stroke of Genius plus Stream of Life was so good?
Who knew? Just staple them on together.
Yeah.
I just mimed a stapler. No one could see it.
I could see it.
Except for Adam. It occurred to me immediately after doing it. It was probably not the best way to illustrate my point.
And so we go to Andrew's turn. He does have his Angel of Serenity, but he does not currently have a third white source. He has a Temple Garden and that ugly plane, 6th edition planes.
I believe he has a Keswick Wolford in his hand as well, so that's not going to be very helpful.
Right.
I think that's what he
won't help him cast, yeah. I would imagine a Sphinx's Revelation is coming. Perhaps a Restoration Angel. Maybe he's getting his Angel Man already.
You certainly got to fiddle with your lands a little, right? At least do something here.
Right. Well, Andrew's actually somewhat likely to have a Sphinx's Revelation. So
He's not
Chris attacks with the cards that would trade with or defeat Restoration Angel. Not willing to send in his elves yet. Andrew with nothing, but until now he has a Centaur Healer coming to save the day. Yeah, Centaur Healer definitely prevents the mana guys from Chris from attacking, or maybe not.
Like he has a Celestia Charm if he's making this attack, right? Yep,
oh,
there it is.
Found it. So the Andrew only at 10, like, Chris can...
He can force him to 1, right? Like, that's pretty much the best he's got.
Yeah, so still worry about the Restoration Angel possibility.
Right, a Restoration Angel in this attempt would be pretty catastrophic.
Right. Sending all of his creatures in and getting the wrong end of a Restoration Angel would be quite poor.
I think I just like the previous attack again, perhaps.
Yeah, send the Smiter and the Death Touch Wolf.
Yeah. That play also lets him hedge against Angel of Serenity a little bit if Andrew finds that planes on top. He's going to send. One of the benefits of putting Andrew to 1, if he decides to do so, is that Andrew can't draw a shock land to Angel of Serenity in.
Correct. He's not going to put him to 1. He's going to leave the Celestia Charm in play, or he's going to in hand, because it'll kill.
It'll certainly kill the Angel of Serenity, but I don't think he can crack back for lethal, unless Andrew shock lands, which actually he may have exactly put that ruse on him here. I can't imagine he's going to do anything else, right?
Right.
He's like, do you have a Celestia Charm? Yeah, like,
oh, maybe it was just lethal anyway.
Oh, it was, yeah, of course, he had a 4th creature. The Centaur Healer Close Combat. Well, that one didn't pan out for Andrew.
No. So, going to sideboards, Chris Anderson has basically nothing but a second copy of Garruk, a third copy of Garruk Relentless for him. Yeah, that'll bring his Garruk count up to 4. And cards he could take out are the Triumph of Ferocity or a Centaur Healer.
You think you take out the Triumph of Ferocity?
When the decks have very similar things, sometimes I guess you're tied.
Yeah, I think you tie a lot, actually, is my guess.
It's clearly very good with Smiter. But yeah, I think the Triumph is a little bit better than his other options out of the sideboard.
Sure. He does have... that Ray of Revelation is pretty spicy, I think.
I'm generally a big fan of Ray of Revelation. However, doesn't have a ton of great targets. Only, like, maybe brings it in for the spheres.
But like peeling 1 just knocks. Obviously, 1 sphere is pretty reasonable to have seen at that point, and if you happen to get a second one, that's a lot of value. On Andrew's side, he's got access to a Supreme Verdict in the sideboard, which is a nice way to keep the board state that just happened from happening.
Right.
And a Garruk Relentless. He has his own Ray of Revelation, but I doubt we'll be bringing that in. It has significantly worse targets against Krantz.
Yeah, Supreme Verdict helps you catch up from being the second to cast a Planeswalker of the same name. And that's a lot of what Chris got, like, a good amount of value from his Garruk Relentless. He got to kill one of Andrew's mana creatures, and Andrew ended up being a little short on lands. And then, in addition, the Death Touch Wolf that was made.
Just kept going.
Yeah, kept attacking, being unblocked.
I think that Jace Memory Adept seems pretty reasonable. In this
Yeah,
matchup,
I
right?
think
Like,
Jace
big
is
hit.
huge. Like, not all these games are going to. A lot of these games are going to devolve into Thragtusk standoffs.
Yep.
And Jace Memory Adapt is the card you want.
Definitely can kill the opponent very quickly and does not care about how many times they gain 5 life.
Yes. One of my preferred ways to win the game in Standard. I am done dealing damage.
Jace Memory Adept. It's you know, you never would have thought that card. That's one of the ones that I think has really outshone expectations. So.
Yeah. Very rarely do
Definitely,
Planeswalkers these days actually exceed their expectations.
Yeah.
You always see these, you know, $40, $50 pre-order prices that just never live up to the hype.
Yeah. I think Jace right now, is he even maybe above his pre-order price? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I'm not.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
That's definitely
That's an interesting question. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because he was really underhyped when he was first,
absolutely. Everyone's
shown.
like, yeah, Mill 10.
Why would I ever want to do that?
Yeah.
Oh man. That was one of the primary reasons that Andrew decided this deck was even viable. He really liked the idea of having a Naya deck that could sideboard Jace, because it's so good at Naya mirrors and also against other control decks. It's very reasonable.
Yeah, I was a little late on the Jace train. I lost in the top 8 of the Invitational almost exclusively because my opponent had Jaces and I did not have a way to...
So
I didn't have anything better to do.
Would you classify the top 8 as like one of the best places or one of the worst places to find yourself late to the train?
All things considered, probably one of the better places.
One of the better. I think that's reasonable too. I wouldn't be so upset to be exiting the station a little early.
Well, it was the thing, like, it never caught me in like this choice or whatever. Even though like I don't think my standard deck wasn't that good.
Okay.
It was good enough to like ignore some like pretty big flaws, like really soft to Jace.
You were on just blue-white flash, right?
Correct.
You shooed the red, and so did your eventual opponent.
My top 8 opponent, Matt Ness, But we both had like significantly different decks.
Yeah. That was pretty interesting because it seemed like everyone had kind of transitioned over to red at that point, but you guys both decided, not me.
And throughout the tournament, both of us were like very happy we didn't have red in our deck. And everybody else with red in their deck, these red cells suck.
Yeah, Pillar of Flame is not the best unless your opponent's casting Gralf's Messenger.
Correct.
It's pretty much the worst if that is not the case. Got some exhaustive shuffling going on here. Let's take a look at these sleeves. We've got
Chris Anderson is red mana sleeves.
Red mana sleeves.
And his green-white deck.
He doesn't have any red mana.
Woo-hoo. What a trickster!
What a trickster. I know that these guys know each other pretty well. I'm curious how much they know about each other's lists. Do you think they know the full 75 pretty much?
I wouldn't say that. I think both players know the other's archetype.
Sure.
But I doubt they would work together. Like, for example, without these lists, like I would know their archetype if I were playing in the tournament.
Okay.
But would not know the contents.
You think that before
if you have any
this
surprises,
list, you were on like the same knowledge base as each other, basically. Okay.
Yeah, like we share like, hey, what are you playing? Type of thing, but not like, hey, swap decks type of.
I see 2 lands and a Farseek in Andrew's hand, so that's a sneak.
Yeah.
Moving over to Chris.
Chris cited in his Nevermore?
Cited in Nevermore, that's interesting. I imagine Sphinx's Revelation might be one of the cards he names. Once Andrew sees that, his Ray of Revelation has got to come in at that point, right? Because then he's got Triumph and Nevermore.
If he sees a Triumph.
Yeah.
Chris also has one Oblivion Ring.
I think Andrew is familiar with Chris's deck because I believe it's Caleb Durward's list.
Okay,
actually.
yes.
So I think Andrew is kind of familiar with Triumph of Frosty, at least as a card, being in Chris's deck.
Yeah, I mean, if Andrew is familiar with, other people's decks.
Nevermore.
That's not always a thing that I...
Now that I think about it, like, siding in Nevermore against the Detention Spheres is really awkward, too, like, especially if you brought in more than just one. I don't know about this. This all seems very shiesty to me.
Yeah. I'm generally not a big fan of Nevermores for value. Like, if you cast a Nevermore...
That's a sentence I never thought I'd hear.
Right. But if you cast a Nevermore and lose, you did it wrong, in my opinion.
I like it in decks like Ben Weinberg's Naya Humans deck. I'm actually
that can't be the Supreme Verdict?
Yeah, where you're just colding them on a card.
Yeah.
For those who are interested,
Especially with his post-board Sigarda plan, like Nevermore, Supreme Verdict, and then drop a Sigarda is basically just game over. Borderland Ranger from Mountain.
So,
Garrick, back to his fighting ways.
I'm interested in seeing which creature is better at a 3-drop slot. This is like a very good studying like contrast. Chris with the Smiter, Andrew with the Borderland Ranger. Like Andrew's got a significant mana advantage, but will he have the ability to like
just take
translate that into something like tangible? Like if Andrew plays like a Thragtusk here.
Just a sphere. Yeah, the Thragtusk is the big problem. I actually initially I've been on the Smiter side of this a lot more than the Borderland Ranger side, but in Vegas I didn't side out my Smiters in an Aya matchup because I just had too many other cards I wanted to support out as well. But generally, after talking with BBD, I think that's just correct to what you'd have to do unless you just don't have enough good cards to bring in. Which I imagine this scenario with Chris. Plus, in his deck, Smiter with Triumph of Ferocity can also fulfill a very different role.
Yes.
That's
Ding.
the Ray. That's what we call a good old-fashioned blowout, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that Nevermore looks a lot better now, since we know it can't be detention sphered, basically.
Right. Oh, jeez. The classic Chris Anderson tokens.
Oh, he appears to be considering perhaps a
second Smiter?
Clothing the Raven or something here.
Ah, yes. Interesting thing. I'll be curious to see what.
I'm already excited.
What's your guess? My guess is Sphinx's
My guess is Sphinx's Revelation. Yeah,
okay.
I think that's probably clear. I could also see maybe Garrick.
Okay.
But he doesn't know. Maybe if he doesn't know, Andrew plays 2 different Garricks because that's really awkward.
Yeah.
But as soon as we get a word on that Nevermore, I'm pretty interested.
Yeah. So Angel, it definitely wasn't Angel Serenity.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't Angel
Serenity. Or
Serenity.
Andrew just cheated.
Sometimes you just gotta run it, right? You just run it out there. See if... Brain check. Well, 2 Restoration Angels do not match up that well against an Angel Serenity.
Yeah, so
they match up
Chris does have
Garrick, Prime Rib Hunter, Primal Hunter. So I guess my second guess hit it there, but Andrew may surprise him with Garrick Relentless. Andrew actually has more Garrick Relentlesses than Primal Hunters because he only came with 1 Primal Hunter, so that was as many as he could run.
Yeah, right.
Which is a very reasonable reason to get Chris here. I think that also kind of answers our question about familiarity with each other's decks. Chris probably wouldn't make that name.
100% would not. I'll
Unless
name a Singleton.
Stone Master.
Yeah, I will name a Singleton.
I can see the future.
Chris very disappointed to switch out his beloved Tim Ayton tokens.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I would be too. Andrew.
Andrew attacking Garrick.
Yep. That Nevermore not really paying off here. Restoration Angel. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Chris Anderson draws Garrick Primal Hunter with a Nevermore on the card.
Chris Anderson really wishing... Oh, he has a Ray of Revelation.
Yeah, he does have a Ray of Revelation. And enough mana to do those 2 things. So, given the board state, I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's just going to try and race. He's got Township and a couple of Angels going, you know. What more can you want, really? I think if he's going to be on this plan, he also has to save his Ray because Detention Sphere and both Angels would be just savage. So that's awkward. I think he's considering it. He's definitely he's like, man, can I attack him to death before he attacks me?
He also has a Loxodon Smiter in his hand, I believe.
I think that's a Selesnya charm, actually.
Oh, okay, even better.
Yeah,
that'll help the race out.
That's why I really like just going like Angel, Selesnya charm, your Angel, probably.
Right. I would imagine Andrew, because he has Wolf Run and mana to activate it.
I think it's a Smiter. You're right. I think you had it first.
Okay.
Rats.
If it was a Selesnya charm, that Angel Serenity probably would have been.
don't know. I could see taking 5 once.
You should have seen Chris's smirk.
I really wanted Andrew's face too. I wanted the full on both of them. Yeah, there he is. This is, how do you say, awkward?
Yeah.
He's putting the Garrick in the bin. I guess that
-3.
Or -3. That's really awkward.
Yeah.
That is probably the worst Nevermore that I've ever seen cast in the history of Nevermore. And it still might, like, Chris very easily could still win this game, I think. What's happening here?
He is using a Selesnya Charm to pump Chris's Restoration Angel to a 5/6, then a second Selesnya Charm to exile it. I might have used the Wolf Run, but to each their own. One thing Andrew could have done is
you're right.
Use the Wolf Run pump. Yeah, Wolf Run plus Selesnya Charm is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah. I think we missed the trick on that one.
Mm-hmm. Oh dear.
Well, this is something.
It's
just a Wolf Run.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're Wolf Running now.
That's half of Chris's life total.
Yeah, that's a good number. Half's generally the correct number to attack someone for, I think.
Alright, so... Oh, maybe we counted... Yeah, okay, I counted one short, but it was 11 damage.
Oh, wow.
So, even better.
Just extra one. Smiter with Angel still in her hand, and... Oh, whoa, we're doing something else.
Was he casting?
I
would not cast the... Maybe he just doesn't want to get syncopated or whatever,
he doesn't know exactly what's going on. He sees blue mana over there. That's reasonable.
Alright, so... Awkwardly enough, I think Andrew might be in desperate need of a second Selesnya Charm.
Yep, he is facing... He's only got 7, that's not enough, so...
It's pumping, okay, if he has Thragtusk, that'd be...
This and Thragtusk is a pretty strong follow. Yeah, I like that a lot if he has it, because obviously Chris is representing lethal with Township.
Even without Township.
Now, he's at 5, he just took 2, yep.
Yep, there we go.
There's the Thragtusk. That'll probably put Chris away, unless he can muster...
His own
an angel of his own, yeah.
Or Selesnya Charm. Even Selesnya Charm might not do it.
Looks like he has another Garrick.
I think that's gonna...
Yep, we're on to game 2 here.
Game 3.
Game 3, sorry. Yes, the end of game 2. Oh. That was a really amusing exchange on that.
I've thoroughly enjoyed that game.
That was awesome. It didn't look like Chris actually got punished that badly anyway. It's not.
Great, he didn't need
another
the
detention sphere or Sphinx's Revelation, so barring maybe Angel of Serenity, but he's also an Angel of Serenity deck. So.
He's also a Primal Hunter deck.
Yes, so. It's really, really awkward. Oh, I imagine they're reliving the moment themselves. Andrew's like, yeah, that was interesting. Obviously, also eager to keep a lid on the exact number of Garrick Primal.
Yeah, for sure. And it has a nice chuckle about
So far, he's definitely got Chris playing around cards that just aren't there between the counterspells and the Garrick Primal Hunter.
There is one Syncopate.
He does have a bullet syncopate. A bulletin. Wow. In the a bullet syncopate in the sideboard. So I guess that is a thing.
Yeah.
It's a pretty reasonable thing. I know I wouldn't be seeing syncopate coming from this deck. That's a home run.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the negates, but getting something like countered in this matchup is kind of just something else. If
depending on what it is. Like if it's an Angel of Serenity. Like,
get out of here.
Getting one of those counters is just really rough.
So it's tough to tell, like, whenever the Smiter almost gets there.
Yeah,
it's tough to tell how good it actually is.
Well, close does not count in
Correct.
Magic the Gathering. You don't get match points for close.
Close only counts in
Horseshoes and hand grenades.
and trivia bonus questions.
And trivia bonus questions.
Yeah.
I'm unfamiliar with that particular ruling. I'll have to take your word for it.
Yes, the closest team to the correct answer on our trivia bonus question gets a point.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's reasonable. We might have to hedge a little sometimes.
Shout out to Peter Johnson. All right.
Closest without going over.
You can go over.
You go over?
Yeah.
Well, Chris will have the play. Hope to convert his mana advantage. It appears we still have Nevermore in our deck. We're mulliganing this one.
Not in our hand yet.
Mulligans are also kind of a hurting in this matchup, I think. Because you really want to develop your mana and your board at kind of an even pace.
Yes.
And that, like, the easiest way to fall behind is your opponent just gets to start attacking you, and you can't really do anything. It's a bad place to be when you don't have Thragtusk on D.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, there are a lot of things that are worth way more than one card.
Yes.
In this matchup, so a mulligan is definitely, let's say, a surmountable thing.
Sure.
You can definitely overcome a mulligan fairly easily.
I think Chris's deck is significantly better mulliganing than Andrew's as well, just because he can have those aggressive starts. Like, if they both have to mulligan, I think that's good for Chris.
Well, also Chris has more solid mana.
Right.
Andrew Shrout is, he has quite the sample hand deck.
Oh, he does. He can have some fun ones.
He was telling me about an earlier hand of, like, it like Kessig Wolfrun Mountain Island Borderland Ranger. And like Sphinx's Revelation or something.
Those are some glorious ones.
Yeah. And the mana requirements in his deck can get a little steep at times. Triple white, double blue, triple green.
Yeah, I think ambitious
red
is the word I would use to describe it. Chris doesn't seem excited by that 6, but I think he's keeping. Then again, I guess Chris might not seem excited about a great many things. I see a Jace Memory Adept in Andrew's hand and a Borderland Ranger. It's a fine place to be.
Farseek from... Yeah.
I saw a pair of Thragtusk sitting in Chris's hand as well. I think we might be in for a long one here.
Well, a reasonable place to be.
The old turn 2 Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Smiter from Chris Anderson, but no additional land. So that's quite the issue for Chris. And Garuk is going to go into wolf making mode more than likely.
I think that's a safe bet.
Not quite powerful enough to fight the. But
unless you want to go down swinging.
Yeah, this. So
catching up,
hits his land drop, although turn late, and plays a Pilgrim, so that's his 5th mana source for Thragtusk, ×2.
And it will be making it to the next turn unless Andrew decides to Garruk Relentless.
Right. I believe that should be Andrew's play.
The question is, can he defend his Garruk from the Lockstone Smiter? Because I don't think he wants to throw it away if that's what he's doing. I think if he fights, he can maybe block with Pilgrim and Resto Angel.
Yeah, it could be Jacing here.
Putting another Planeswalker out is also a big game.
What would you do with this? Would you just go for the Gusto? And
I would just 10 him and make a Wolf, yeah.
It looks like he's going to be drawing a card.
Okay.
I think I like that play. Draws another Jace. Makes 10ing him a lot better.
To be fair, at this point, both of those might be just very viable options, you know?
I knew a rare revelation for Chris Anderson.
I think he has a Nevermore in there, along with his 2 Thragtusks as well.
Looks like the Thragtusk Brigade.
That's going to be a little slow for the Jace. Especially once Andrew untaps and has access to like that Angel Pilgrim Flicker block.
Yes.
Yeah, hiding Jace behind a Garruk is not nearly as effective as the old school Mind Sculptor Gideon combination, but it's reasonable.
It does the trick. Yeah, Garruk Relentless is
No getting
not as
Jura.
good. Yeah.
That's for sure.
Oh, we're
Drawn, okay. I guess with the second Jace, he might feel okay just trying to like build.
well, he may like want to fight.
That's also fair.
It looks like he wants to fight
Okay.
without, but he wants something else to play.
Yeah.
And he found a Thragtusk,
Yes.
so
We gotta flip that guy over. Missed a trigger there.
I mean, wouldn't it just trigger again? Is it just like an infinite?
No, it's when he goes.
Okay.
So like it only triggers
Yeah.
during the change. I'm pretty sure. Unless it might be one of those like weird ones. I know
Yeah.
Darksteel Reactor's like an infinite trigger. Bringing up some of that strange busted rules. Busted in the broken. Well, I tried busted in the broken sense, but
Yeah.
I mean the does not function correctly sense.
So Andrew in quite a dominating position here.
Yeah, it is when it does trigger infinitely. I think it's interesting.
He has
Just
fewer
whenever
loyalty.
he has two or
Fewer loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's interesting that the rules only allow it to trigger once. Like, wouldn't it just go on the stack infinitely?
There's there's something about that.
I'm sure like the actual Magic the Gathering rules work.
I'm curious now. I'm pretty sure that's exactly how the reactor is worded. So I know there was like an old thing with like if your opponent has a Platinum Angel and you have a Darksteel Reactor in 20, like the game's a draw.
Oh, that's awesome.
Or something like that. I think that's what it was.
Okay, so double attack from Chris. Trades Andrew blocks Smiter with Thragtusk, and Chump blocks Chris's Thragtusk.
Chris hit another land for his Thragtusk, which was pretty important.
His second Thragtusk.
Yeah.
Yes. Very, very good here. Although the Death Touch Wolves will start actually putting a dent instead of just Chump blocking.
Yeah. Death Touch Wolves are
being able to flip
fight.
it over and get like upgrade, so to speak, the 2/2s into the 1/1s. But the 1/1s are actually better in this situation.
It also basically makes the Gavany Township irrelevant.
Correct. This is one of the places where Chris would love a Kessig Wolf run over it. So Andrews feels like he has this game on lockdown enough to the point where he can mill Chris for 10. So he's going to go for the Gusto with... and I kind of like that play. Like, you kind of develop your board a little, draw a couple extra cards.
Yep.
But at some point, you're not going to ultimate it. Your ultimate is just the 0 4 times or 3 times, whatever the case may be.
The Sport Owned Ranger is important because Andrew lost access to white mana when he lost that Pilgrim. So now he's got it back. He's
got it back, and
without can come back.
Yeah, without and it's not just a land.
Yeah.
It
Also
is.
a body.
Yeah, he gets an additional blocker, which could be relevant. I don't think he'll need to block with it this turn.
I don't think so, and I imagine he won't be eager to either.
So if I'm Andrew, I would just block a beast on the Thragtusk and a wolf on Thragtusk. If Chris wants to spend his turn using townshipping,
that's horrible.
It's might have to happen, but like it's not a good sequence of plays for Chris.
Yeah, what Chris really wanted in that situation was to have like a Selesnya charm.
Yeah.
Just drill over that Death Touch Wolf for the full amount, but. Chris, I think, kind of feeling the inexorable.
Yeah,
end
he's
of his
like,
library at this moment. You know, it's like I cannot get through. It's just that Garruk is on some pretty significant D.
Yeah, this Garruk is pretty dominating here. Although Andrew doesn't have another spell in his hand, really.
He has Restoration Angel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so,
I did not see that. I thought Angel Serenity has a backup Jace and a backup Garruk.
Yep. Yeah, Kessig Wolf run. It's not really relevant at the moment, but. I think Restoration Angel is probably going to play Suicide Duty here, right? Like, it'll make him Township if he wants to save a beast.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Chris has any better plays left at this point, but he'll be losing a Smiter.
He might just be willing to take 3.
That's reasonable, I suppose. Sure.
Depending on where the creatures are going.
I think I'd be okay with just making my opponent tap out. I'm not winning the game on damage at this point. I think we're like pretty committed to Jace. Even if this Jace dies, we still have the other one.
We still have another one. Huh, interesting. Why a forest? Oh, we only have 1 plains in our deck.
Yep. We do only have 1 plains. It's a piece of work.
Alright. 2 white sources short. Can't borderland for a white source.
He is, it looks like, in a Township. I think Andrew's asking, like, can I block now? Something to that effect, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah,
okay, so he double blocked one of the beasts.
Okay. That's
so
reasonable. So he kind of took, I guess he's planning to just send in that extra Garrick now. With nothing else really to do in his hand. Milton, Garrick, Borderland Ranger. I'll go.
And I'm just kind of feeling like the heat of not having, like, just threats to run out. Like, he's having, like, these mediocre, like, reactive cards.
Yeah, he is possible, you know, he just drew a little poorly. It's also possible he may have boarded down a little more than he should have.
Yeah.
I think he probably took out those Triumph of Ferocities. Like, we haven't seen them at least. I don't know.
Right.
I don't see any in the graveyard, right?
That'd be hard for me to...
Yeah, but I think that they would have been pretty good in this game, for example. Or at least, like, better than a lot of the things that were going on.
Yeah, because drawing the Rare Revelation really hurt him. Just like a really situational card that just didn't do anything.
Yeah.